Are you looking to use Etrade Pro? Then don't worry, because I got you covered. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to download Etrade Pro. I'm also going to walk you through the settings, the preferences, how to change the color scheme, how to set it up for option trading, how to use the charts, and a whole lot more. So this is part 1 of 2, so be sure to watch both. And if you need to jump to a specific part in the video, we'll have it timestamped in the comments. Let's dive into it. Okay, here I am at the home screen of the Etrade platform. Once I log in, let's go ahead and log in. This is assuming you already have an account. Voila. Once you get logged in, over here to the right, you're going to see some options. You're going to see Launch Power Etrade, Paper Trading, Etrade Pro, Market Caster. Etrade Pro is what you want, so go ahead and click that. Once you get here, you'll see I'm on a Mac, so it's going to download this software. But if it doesn't open, which it didn't open for me, you're going to click File Not Recognized, Install Etrade Pro. Click that, and this is going to be the file for a Mac. Obviously, do whatever is the normal download and install process for a PC. Then once that downloads, you're going to just double click it and open it, and then your Mac is going to go into installing it. Or again, if you're on a PC, you're going to follow the process for installing it on the PC. Double click it. It's already installed on our computer, but if you double click it again, it's going to ask, do you really want to install it? Just go ahead and hit open, and it's going to install the Etrade Pro platform. All right, so now that you've downloaded the Etrade Pro platform, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to set up all your tabs, or at least the most important ones, especially if you're an options trader or a day trader. So let's take a look at the platform and get you all set up. Okay, so here we are inside of the Etrade Pro platform. Now it should look pretty basic like this if you haven't done anything. To your left, you'll have your dashboard. So if you double click that, it'll shoot out. It'll kind of give you a summary about your account. In this account, I have a demo account. Well, this is a real account, but I put $1,000 in there just to open it, play with the platform, see if I like it. So it'll show you that. It'll show you down here if you have any portfolios, any open orders, your watch list that you create, any news or events, different things like that. And then over here, you'll have your indexes, your Dow, your NASDAQ, your S&P 500. So let's go across the top first and show you how to change a few things. So the first thing I recommend you changing is going into your settings and then come down here to change text size. I have mine on large. When you first open the platform, it'll be on smaller default. So it'll look something like this. It'll look super, it'll look just super small. So just change that to large, or did I have it on larger? Or put it on larger and then hit OK. The second thing that you may want to change is if you're a YouTuber like me, or you're doing something where you don't want people to see your account information, you can come up here to account preferences and you can click hide account number. So that way, like up here, it doesn't show your account number. It just shows the name of the account. All right, moving right along. So when I look over here at this side, I don't really care about the VIX, the 10-year, or the Russell. So you're going to click this settings button right here. And what I like to do is change this to the S&P 500. So that's the SPX, $SPX. And then I like the comp Q down here, or the comp X, which is the NASDAQ. And then I like my Dow Jones in the middle. And then I'm going to take off flipping, so that's not flipping through the other three. And typically that will update. So here's what we'll do. We'll do it again. We'll go symbol number 1. We'll go the comp X, symbol number 2, Dow Jones, DJI, and then symbol number 3, SPX. So then when you hit OK, it'll be in this order right here. I actually like mine to go S&P, Dow, then NASDAQ. So I'm going to change that one more time. So we're going to go SPX, CompX, and then we're going to go, actually, nope, Dow Jones, and then CompX. And voila. So we got the S&P 500. I like to know how the overall market's doing, then the Dow components, then the NASDAQ, which is the big tech index. All right. So when we come down here, you'll have screen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What I like to do is come down here to screen 1 and we can rename this. So we're going to call this option chain. So what we're going to do now is go up here. And by the way, to rename something, you just right click on it and then this will come up screen 1 or rename. Okay. So that is how you rename. So let's just rename screen 2. I'm going to right click screen 2. I'm going to call it option strategy. Okay. And you'll see why I call these that in a second. So if you go up to tools, you can come over down here to option chain, and we're going to click that and set it up, and we're going to make it big enough for you to see. So this is your option chain. Now, I do not like this color scheme. I do not like how this looks. I'm going to show you how to customize it for, you know, what I like to call my active trader screen. So I'm going to change the theme by going to settings, come down here to theme, and I'm actually going to go to light theme, and then we're going to hit OK. Now, I'm also going to right click anywhere in here where these quotes are. And I'm going to come down here to display. Now on the display, I'm going to change my cell background from black to actually be white. So I'm going to change it all the way to white. I'm just going to grab this, drag it all the way to the top left corner where it's white, hit OK. Then I'm going to change the cell text to black. So I'm going to drag this all the way down here to black and then hit OK. And if I hit OK, you'll see something that looks more like this. To me, that's a lot easier to read. Now, we still have one more customization to go. When I'm looking at my in the money option quotes, I want to know that they're in the money. And the way that I identify in the money is by if it's green. That means it has some intrinsic value or some in the money. Now, there's two ways you can do this. You can just drag this all the way over to the corner and pick like a light color, or you can go with a dark green, but you can just change the transparency, right? And so you can see what it'll look like. So if I hit OK and I hit OK, you get something that looks like this. So now I'm able to see which options are in the money at a quick glance. So it's like, I know I'm buying an in the money call option if it's in the green, if I select one of these greens, or I'm buying an in the money put option on this side if it's in the green. Now let's modify these option tabs here. Cause see, I don't necessarily care about the theoretical and some of this stuff. So I'm going to change this to get the information that I care about. So again, I'm going to right click, going to hit columns this time. So this time I'm going to set it up. I want the bid, I want the ask, I want the last trade. I don't care about theoretical value. I do want change, total volume, open interest. Those are all things I care about, but I also care about the delta. So if I like to know, you know, what's the delta of the option that I'm buying? So I'm going to click the delta. I'm going to hit add. So I'm also going to rearrange how it looks from left to right. If I just hit OK and I don't change anything, this is how it's going to look. But I really want my last purchase price here. Then I want the change for the day, bid and ask right there. So I'm going to right click again, go into display, and we're going to modify this. Okay. So, and then, well, you can modify it two ways, by the way, by display and then click columns, or you can right click and just go straight to columns. But even if you click display or columns, you can see you can toggle to change both of those at the same time or within the same screen. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to make these changes. So I want the last trade. I want to move that up. So I'm going to highlight it and click this up arrow, last trade. Then I want the bid right underneath that. Then I want the ask right next to that. Then I want the open interest. No, actually, I want the change for the day right up there. So last trade, and then like, what does that represent for the day? So the last trade, Did that make this option go positive or negative for the day? Then what's the current bid and ask that someone is asking for? I always want to see the open interest and then total volume, just how many has moved for the day. And then there's my delta, okay? So if I hit okay, and then voila, it's gonna be in that format that I like. So let me pull up my drawing tool here. So you can see right here, I got my last trade. I got my change, right? So how much has this changed on the day? The current bid, current ask, total volume. So how many contracts have moved today, and then open interest, which means how many contracts are open and outstanding, and then the delta of my option. Now that I have this set up, there's a couple other things that you can do. If you come over to this area right here, I can change the ticker symbol. And then right here, I can change how many strikes do I want to see. So I'm going to change that to all. So that way I can see every option. I can scroll up, down, find other options, whether it's on the call or the put side that I want to see. And then here, I'm going to change this. Let's just go with Netflix or something like that for the day. So we can see all the Netflix options. I can quickly see if they're in the money, if they're out of the money, or whatever the case may be. Now, notice that there's a gap in between here. So if you right click this again and go back to display, there's this highlight on current, highlight on update. So what that'll do is every time the price change, it should highlight it, or it'll highlight the current options. This will highlight the current option that you're hovering over. So let me show you what I mean by that. Let me see if I can do it and leave that open. So if nope, I can't do it and leave it open. But basically whatever option I select, it's going to be blue. And then all the in the monies are going to be highlighted with this light green color. And then highlight on update. I need to figure out what that means. But for now, oh, so that's what it means. It's updating, meaning like the price just changed or something just happened. I would turn that off because that would be confusing to me to see the delta change and the price change. And that's just too much information for me. And it's not what I need. So I would go to display. I would take highlight on update off. That's just too much going on for me. And just want to highlight in the money and then highlight the current one I'm looking at. So the current one I might be looking at, when I click it, you'll get this blue kind of line going across. Again, my opinion, I think this blue line is a little harder to read. So I am going to go into display and maybe select yellow. So that is really apparent that I'm basically looking at an option. So when I click it, I think that yellow really stands out, mustard type color, and I can quickly identify that I'm looking on the option. But you do whatever is best for you. Then across the top here, you'll see this row right here. This is how you select your different time frames of your options. So if you look here, you got October, you got October 9th, October 16th, and then you hit this little arrow, you can go all the way until there's no more options. So January 20th, 2023 would be the last set of options, okay? So I'm gonna come all the way back to, let's just say September 25th. This is a weekly option. And you can change all of that information. If you just want to see calls, just drop this down, say, I just want to see calls. And then you can set this up to where you're seeing the strike price, bid, ask, or you can modify this display for when you're just looking at a call option by itself. You can change what those columns look like as well versus what the columns look like when you have calls and puts on the same screen. So I got calls and puts on the same screen. This is all the information I want to see. If I just want to see calls, you may want to know the theoretical value, the implied volatility, the rho, the vega, the gamma, the delta, the theta. Those are all the Greeks that deal with time decay and different things like that with respect to an option. But typically when I'm trading, this is the screen I'll leave it on calls and puts, but I just want to show you that you can modify that. If you come down here, you can hide your order entry or you can show it. So this is where you may place an actual trade or execution. I actually like to have this hidden because if I'm going to buy, for example, a 450 Netflix option, I can right click and hit buy, and it's going to pop up this trading window anyway, the same one that was down here essentially, but it's going to pre-populate it with Netflix, 10 contracts, the option that I wanted to buy, the 450. It's also going to show you the last price it sold for, the bid size, the ask, and then how do I want to buy it. So if I want to place a limit order or a market order, like just give me the best price at a market, I can do that. If I want to do a limit order, I can just do that. And then I can say I want to pay 25.01, or I can just double click in here and say I want to pay $27.50 for the option, whatever the case may be. And then I can just hit buy to open if I want to do that. So I'm going to minimize that. Now what happens, because that's minimized, if you ever want to bring it back up, you'll see this little area right here. It says one minimize basically. So if I click on it and then I pop out this window, it'll bring my order entry back up. So if I had several orders that I was thinking about, let's say I was thinking about a put option, and I'll buy to open and then I'll minimize it. So it'll show the most recent order now as a put option that's minimized down there. So it kind of gets it out of your way if you still want to do some research. All right. So that's pretty much how you're going to use the option screen. Let's talk about the option strategy platform. So if you click option strategy right here, go back up here to tools, and then come down here to option tools. Once again, you're going to maximize that screen. So what this is going to allow you to do is they're going to give you a couple different tools up here. You're going to give you the option analyzer, the strategy optimizer, and the option screener. I don't believe in my trading world, I don't use these two. Okay. And so what you're looking at here with the option analyzer, this is going to be helpful for a lot of people because most people don't know when they make money with an option, when they break even, etc. So let's just say I was thinking about trading Netflix. I'm going to type in the symbol Netflix. Then I'm going to hit create strategy. I want to buy call options 10. And so let's just say we wanted to buy the 450 Netflix. Now you can see up here, Netflix is trading for 473. So actually, let's say we were thinking about buying the 475 option. Okay, we're going to hit OK. What this is going to do is now going to give us this grid. And it's basically saying, if you look up here, it's saying if you were to buy, that's the action, 10 Netflix options, September 25th, 2020 expiration, the 475 strike price call, the current bid is going for 445 by 480. So assuming you have to pay the ask price for it, which is 480, this is going to tell you, you got this little slider. So you can say, at what point do I make money? So if you slide this over, it's basically saying this little line right here, this is your zero line. This is where you don't make any money and you don't lose any money. So it's basically saying as long as Netflix stays at this price, you will break even. Okay, this is your break even line. So as long as Netflix stays at that price. Okay, now as Netflix price increase, because the prices along the bottom is increasing 440 to 446, 445, 460, 466, 470, 480, 486, 492. So if Netflix price increases, as it increases, this is how much money you could potentially make. Okay. So basically it's saying, where will Netflix be at expiration? And any of these prices, you make money. And that's why this orange slider keeps going up. Now, if Netflix, okay, It's hard to slide it back. There we go. Now, if Netflix is below, again, right here is where you break even. Right where the price you paid for it and the price it needs to be. That's where these two lines intersect, okay? But anything below that, you basically lose your initial investment, right? And your initial investment would be about $4,000 if you were to buy that option, a little bit less than $4,000. You're buying 10 contracts for anywhere between 445 and 480, so about 4,800 bucks. So anything below that, you can see the number stops moving, because if the stock is anywhere below that, you lose money or you lose all of your money. If the stock is anywhere past right here, okay, this point, which is the strike price you bought, the 475, anything past that, you lose a little bit less. And then anything past, again, this intersection point is your break even. Anything past that, you actually start making money. So this is kind of a cool graph, especially for people who don't know how to calculate manually, their profit, their loss, and what they're going to make on an option trade. So those are two very important screens that you're going to need to know as you're using this platform. All right, so now let's move over to screen number 3 down here. So again, you're gonna have a blank screen. All right, there we go. Let's make sure you can see the entire screen. So down here, you'll see tools as well. So you can still pop that up down there at the bottom if you want. It's the same tools that are right up here at the top. So now let's call this page charts. So you're going to come up here to tools. There's two different charts. You got chart classic and you got regular chart. So let's just do both and let's see what happens. So here's chart classic. If I make this big, what you'll see here is it's a candlestick chart. We'll do Netflix again. If you don't like candlesticks, or for whatever reason you want to see a bar chart, just drop that down. You can see a bar chart. You can see a line high low chart. Whatever you need to, get the visualization of what's going on with the stock that you're looking at. You can also grab this mid bar and pull it down, because volume doesn't necessarily need to be that big. So you can just get a good look at what's going on with your chart. Here we're looking at a 100-day chart. So if you think about 100 days, there's about 30 days in a month. You're looking at about a 90-day chart or a 3-month chart. Does that make sense? So if you want to look at a 6-month chart, there's usually about 30 days in a month. So you can go 180 days. Now you can see a little bit better what the trend is on, this Netflix chart. You can see it kind of double topped out here, right? Boom, one top, boom, double top. So you can kind of see everything that you need from here, just a basic chart setup. Now you can right click on this and then you can go into your chart settings. If you didn't like the color scheme, you wanted to change the gradient from this blue to something else, you can change that. If you didn't like green up days and red down days, you can just click that and make it a different color if you want. I like to see very clearly that, green is up, red is down. Same thing with volume. So I'm going to leave that there. The other thing that you can do on your chart, which is pretty cool, is here's where you can add your studies. So if you're like, well, I want to see stochastics, or I want to see Bollinger Bands around this, go ahead and click that and hit add. And now you're going to see that it added the upper Bollinger Band, but it didn't add the lower Bollinger Band. So we'll come back here and let's see here. So the upper is here. Go ahead and switch here. There's your lower. And you should be able to do both. So let's figure out how to get that going. And then maybe you want your Bollinger Band color white. All right, so that it doesn't mess with anything. So here's what happens. Here's your upper band. And then you're going to have to add a second Bollinger Band. And you're going to come down here and you're going to make that your lower. So you'll have your two upper and lower Bollinger Bands there. And I'm not sure why the software doesn't just add both the bands, but this is how it is. You'll have to add your upper and your lower separately in this kind of classic view. And then the other thing that you'll notice is missing. Typically the Bollinger Band has your plus or -2 standard deviations from this moving average line. That's what this is. This is a +2 and this is your -2, which gives you your upper and your lower band. So you'll see here that there's really no way to add the middle band. The standard deviation is there. The moving average period is a 20, but it's not plotted on here. So even if I change that to like an 18 moving average, it's going to change the upper band and the lower band, but it's not giving you your middle band. So what you'll have to do again, if you want to add your middle band, like we just did, we're going to change that and give it a different color. Let's give it a purple. And then what we're going to do here is I'm going to see if we can change the standard deviation to be 0. Okay. And so it doesn't matter if you call this the upper or the lower, because we changed the standard deviation to be 0. So that is how you get your full Bollinger Band, because the upper is already a +2, the bottom is a -2, and the middle is a 20. So this is 20 plus 2 standard deviations. This is 20 -2, which is how you get the bottom line. It's just this software makes you build them all out separately, which is just pretty interesting, I guess you could say, on how they thought about that. And then you can also just change this to be white, so you can just know that they're all part of the same technical analysis. But if you wanted to add any other technical analysis, this is how you would do it. You just pick whatever else it is that you want to add, and whatever all these things are. I don't use all of them, but you can just add that and then just go ahead and hit OK, and voila, you'll have a 6-month chart of Netflix with your Bollinger Bands on it, with volume down there, and boom, you can go ahead and trade. So now let's call this one Charts Part 2. Okay, it's not letting me type the name for whatever reason, but here what we're going to do is go up here to Tools. And so we did the classic charts. Now we're going to do the intuitive professional grade charts. Okay, so go ahead and hit that. Again, I like to maximize everything, just make it real big so I can see, what I'm looking at. They're going to have your predefined set. So let's change this to Netflix first. And then you can see here, it's predefined at 6 months, year to date, whatever the case may be. So you got your 6 months. You can rename your different views. So after you create a view that you like, you can, rename them. But this is a chart where you got your 6 months. Now, another thing you can do too, since this is more streaming, you could also go 1 day or a 2 day, and this is going to get you your intraday chart, right? So this, I'm looking at the real-time movement of Netflix today, and you can see this is in minutes, right? So this is military time, and then this starts the new day, September 24th, and then this is 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. So as you go backwards, right, this was 3 p.m. the previous day. That's why in military time. So that's 3 p.m. the previous day. And then obviously the new day started right here. And then you can use your mouse to kind of scroll in or scroll out and get real close and say what's going on with Netflix right now. Now, the question is going to be, even though you're watching a daily chart, what are you watching it on? You can see right here, it's a 1 minute chart. So if you're like, well, I like a 3 minute chart or a 5 minute, no problem. Just click this. I usually like a 3 minute chart. And so now I'm looking at 3-minute candlesticks on a 1-day chart, or today's action chart. Okay. So if you want a 3-day chart, all 3 minutes, this is the last 3 minutes over the last 3 days. That's typically too much information. I usually like a 1-day or a 2-day. So the 1-day, again, is going to be similar to 2-day. And then you can zoom in, zoom out, and get more information. Put it on a 3-minute. The other thing, you're going to have this draw button. So technically you can come over here and select tools, and you can kind of draw on your chart. It's kind of funny the way that this software works. I don't typically use this for drawing lines on the chart, but you should have the option to draw on the chart. Be also nice if you can turn off the crosshairs. So let's just do a right click and see what options we have here. So just to change your theme and stuff like that. So no real options to change much in here. You can show events on the screen. So let's say you like when was earnings, you can show that. Now you're not going to see earnings probably on a 1-day chart. So if you switch to like a 6-month, then you'll see like right here, this was earnings. Or if you want to see stock splits, you can right click and you can see, events again. If you want to see dividends, if they pay a dividend, they would show that on the chart. If they don't, then clearly that's not going to be present. So here's what I want to do to wrap up this tutorial, right? You also have more screens that you can use. So let's go here and let's go back up here to tools, and then let's go news. So let's just say you want to keep up with, whatever's going on with the market. Click news. It's going to basically give you this little tab right here. And what you can do is type in the symbol. So say Netflix, keep with the same example. It's going to pull the news from Wall Street Journal, Market Watch, different sources. So you can say all news sources, or if you just want news from Briefing and Play, Dow Jones, Market Watch, Business Wire, Global Wire, PR News, you can do that. You can filter. There's different things you can do. We're just going to leave it on all news. Ideally, you just want to deal with the stuff that keeps you inside the trading platform. And so the stuff that's going to keep you inside the trading platform are going to be your option change, your option strategy, your charts, your streaming charts, your news on a basic level. All of those things are going to keep you inside of the platform and allow you to navigate, place your trade, and look at the stocks and stuff like that you want to use. So I hope this tutorial has been helpful for you, because I know there's not a lot of information on their site. In fact, I reached out to their customer service, and the response that they gave me was, we don't have any tutorials on the Etrade Pro platform. So I wanted to create this tutorial to get you up and running so you can experience the platform and figure out how to use it, how to set it up so that you can use it as an active options or stock trader. So hopefully it's been helpful. If so, give this video a thumbs up. If you got any questions, leave them below in the comments, and be sure to hit the subscribe button and check out our other videos on Etrade right here on this channel.